What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another vintage collection market update. Lots of sales prices here, and yet again, there were a number of graded TVC that sold either in auctions or buy it now situations over the last couple of days. And I know most of us don't seem to collect graded TVC, but it seems like more and more lately there are a lot of them coming up on the market. So take that for what you will. And as you can tell by these sales prices, some of the graded TVC especially sold for some big prices. $200 for the Mandalorian, $1,000 for the Jar Jar Binks, which we all know is fairly expensive, even ungraded, but really surprising prices overall. And we're going to start with General Grievous. This is the foil edition of VC-17, the Ultimate Galactic Hunt version. This seller, again, did not include much in the way of photos, just a few of the front inside of a star case. It still sold for $210. Shout out again to Chet and Mike for those two beautiful General Grievous that you guys sent me as gifts. I absolutely love them. I was just looking at them the other day, so thank you again for those. A bunch of different Clone Commander Cody sold, and here was a foil edition. That one sold for $170. By no means perfect, but pretty good shape overall, probably 85 grade condition. And a couple of non-foil examples also sold. This one is a punched example US card back with the rocket-firing Boba Fett mail-away offer. It was listed for $175, and the best offer that was accepted was $160 on this one. And then this one sold in an auction, exact same card back, and it was punched again. There was an unpunched example that sold for $300 that I did not include in this batch, but this punched example sold for $177.50. So that gives you a nice tight price range for the non-foil punched example of Clone Commander Cody. 160 versus 177.50. Here was an unpunched Super Battle Droid. This is another one that seems to be creeping up in price a little bit. We covered this one in a recent market update. This one was the US card back, again unpunched, and that one sold for 85 pounds over across the pond, which is 102 US dollars. Next up was a VC-09 foil Boba Fett, but this is the Canadian version. This one, again, has the multi-language, as you can see in the upper left-hand corner, and on the back it also has all of the different languages for the Canadian release of VC-09 on the foil cardback. Tough one to find, really tough one to find. Does not come up very often. That one sold for $250 plus $9 shipping up in Canada. So that's a really nice example of the Canadian foil Boba Fett. Another Luke Skywalker Dagobah landing sold. This one again had the clear saber. Shout out again to Joe Rice for sending me this one as a gift. I've already sent it off to CAS to take advantage of their 30-day turnaround time. So thank you again to Joe. He's a Patreon supporter and a good friend of mine, and I really appreciate you sending me that as a gift. This unpunched example, US card sold. It was listed for $150 plus $9 shipping. The best offer that was accepted was $135 plus shipping. So really nice example there for the clear saber Luke Skywalker Dagobah landing. And this was an interesting lot. This one included the Imperial Assault Tank driver as well as the commander. And so this was a lot of two inside star cases, and it shows the backs here. The interesting thing is that the VC-126 did have the larger Hong Kong import sticker on the back. So that's the larger example of that sticker. There's a smaller one that is more common with more recent releases, but this larger sticker is one I don't have on any card back in my collection, and it's a lot tougher to find this larger import sticker for Hasbro Far East. So really interesting lot there. And that one sold in an auction for $168 plus $13 shipping. That's a pretty good buy in my mind for I would call that a foreign card back, a Hasbro Far East distribution sticker. And for the lot of two of those, I mean, you're talking about 80 or 90 bucks a piece for those. So I think to get those in an auction is a pretty good buy. Next up, we're going to start digging into the graded items. And there were a bunch of different graded items. I believe all of these are AFA graded. This was an uncirculated 2011 low grade with the prototype Boba Fett offer sticker. This one was the US card, unpunched. It was listed for $180. The best offer that was accepted was $160 plus $9 shipping. Another Ewok for you. This is Lumat. This seller, Wheeljack's Lab, had a number of really nice high-grade AFA examples for the TVC line. And this Lumat was unpunched. US card, $197.50 for that one, and it was an AFA 9.0 example. Again, it was uncirculated, so that's a nice buy given that ungraded, these Lumats can go for $140 to $150. Next up was Wicked. This one was graded uncirculated 90, so this one had the 3-tier grading and also had the prototype offer sticker unpunched. That one sold for $150 on one bid plus $11.45 shipping. And then we had the 2 bounty hunters on the foil card backs. First we have Forlom. This one also was graded on the 3-tier scale, U85. That one sold for $120 plus $11.45 shipping. And to match it, we had an uncirculated 90 grade Zuckus on that foil card bag. These were, I believe, convention exclusives that came in that 2-pack. And this one sold for big money, $173.50 plus $11.45 shipping. Same seller also had the Han Solo in Carbonite block, graded AFA 85. That one only had one bid, but that sold for $100 plus $11.45 shipping. The Battle Droid was unpunched with the Darth Maul offer sticker, and that one was graded on the modern scale, AFA 9.0. Beautiful unpunched US card back, and that was a good buy. $88 plus $11.45 shipping. I would have paid that all day long, and that's a really nice example there. R2-D2. We had the R2-D2 from the Sail Barge. This one was graded uncirculated 90, and this one is pretty expensive ungraded. This one can go for $80 to $100 ungraded. So to get that one for $152.50 in an auction, there were only 2 bids plus $11.45 shipping. That's a really good buy in my mind because, as I said, ungraded, even not in perfect condition, these can easily approach $100. And to get an uncirculated 90 grade with the 3-tier grading from AFA, that's a really good buy. Next up was a beautiful Ahsoka. This one was a punched example, graded AFA 8.5 on the modern scale. And as we've talked about, the Ahsokas continue to be kind of somewhere between $300 and $400. And to get one graded in in a nice AFA case, 8.5 grade for $355 in an auction plus $11.45 shipping. I mean, that's oftentimes what these can go for. Ungraded. Now, it was punched, so keep that in mind. Unpunched examples can easily approach $400, but to get it already graded for that price, that's a pretty good buy in my mind, too. Next up was a punched example of the Magna Guard. We just talked about one of these that was unpunched, that was not graded, that sold for a little over $200. And again, this one was punched with the rocket firing FET offer sticker. It was graded 8.5 on the modern scale, and that one sold for $150 plus $11.45 shipping. Next up, we had a Darth Maul, and this Darth Maul was only graded 8.0 on the modern scale, but it still sold for $132.50. Unpunched US card back, so even some of the lower grade ones sold for more than I expected. This is one that definitely came in higher than I would expect given the grade, but some of them were good deals. Some of them were a little bit more expensive. This one was the foil Anakin Skywalker, and that one was graded 9.0 on the modern scale. That one sold for $300. Ungraded, you might be able to pick it up for $150 to $175. So somebody was willing to pay up a little bit for this one, just given that it was 9.0 and and already graded. But $300 plus $11.45 shipping took that one home. Next up, I've got an ungraded and I got a graded Neon Gnome. This one was an unpunched US card back ungraded that sold for $99.95 plus $9 shipping. So let's call that about $110. And then this one was the AFA 9.0 example, exact same card back, and that sold for about double. So $220 after accounting for shipping on 3 bids. So again, it just depends on who's out there looking and whether they want to pay up for a graded example that's nice and high grade. But in this case, the graded example sold for almost double, or almost exactly double, what the ungraded example sold for. Exact same card back, and both of them were unpunched. Next up was the big boy. This was Jar Jar Binks, graded 9.0 on the modern scale. Beautiful example, and that one sold for $1,000 on one bid plus $11.45 shipping. So that's one of the few holy grails within the Vintage Collection line. And, obviously the VC20 Canadian Yoda still takes the cake in terms of the highest prices we're ever probably going to see. But you got the Jar Jar Binks, you got the Salacious Crumb, and then the Mouse Droid kind of quickly following it up on that. But that's a really nice example, 9.0 on the modern scale. Only one bid, though, so $1,000 took that one home. And then this one was a surprising one. Me personally, if I had an AFA uncirculated 9.5 Mandalorian original issue. Again, I know that they produce these in large numbers, but it's a 9.5. That's a really, really tough grade to get and uncirculated. I don't know if I would have been willing to sell this for $200, but it did. It sold for $200 plus $10.45 shipping. I think if I had an uncirculated 9.5 Mandalorian first issue, I would want more than that for this one. That's just me. But I think that's a really good buy. $200 for a 9.5 grade uncirculated Mando plus $10.45 shipping. And then finally, we had another 8.5 grade Mandalorian and Grogu Maldo Crease Walmart exclusive. And this price was a little bit lower than some of the other ones we've seen. They've been kind of hovering for 8.5 grade examples of this for between $125 and $145. And this one came in lower, $107 plus $16 shipping. So good buy on that one relative to some of the recent sales data points that we've seen for the Maldo Crease Walmart exclusive. So anyway, that's all I really had for this video. Some of these graded examples sold for higher than I expected, and some were really good buys in my mind. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.